Good evening, everyone. सबका स्वागत uh, it is always a pleasure to connect with our valued distributors, with our valued partners who have been backbone of our growth and backbone of this industry. And it is your continued trust and partnership with us that has helped investors take informed and very confident decisions and made choices according to the requirements into the various asset classes. So over the past few years, we have witnessed markets evolve faster than ever before. There have been new opportunity being created. Global events have reshaped sentiments. Volatility has been there. But in such times, one thing remains constant: the need for an investment approach that blends growth with prudence. And at RTI, we are trying to build a philosophy of trust, transparency, and time-tested discipline. And we think this matters more and more as we go along in these volatile times. Let me just share some thoughts with you. Some of the challenges that we have been facing in the economic markets across the world, and how resilient markets have been. You know, in the last 5 years, I think the challenge that the markets have faced have been more than ever before. Rather, the joke at our fund level is this: that if somebody has managed money in last 5 7 years, then he has managed money for equal to 20 25 years. That is the kind of volatility we have seen, from COVID to the wars that were not even anticipated, to a war which people thought will last for a week or a month, which is still going on. We are in the almost end of fourth year into that. To the economics war going across in the world, the geopolitical risk which has risen. But what I have learned is that in all the challenges that we see around, there has been resilience, and resilience has been there, especially, I can assure you, from our country. You know, Earlier part of this year, there were income tax cuts given, which has helped us in sustaining our economy. The Reserve Bank has been there, who has given, after controlling inflation, they have given interest rate cuts. GST rationalization has recently happened. Infrastructure and manufacturing push is still on. And then we have a challenge. We have been challenged by a USA trade deal. Challenge is resilience. And yesterday, when I was reading some reports, the report said despite these challenges we're talking about, India stands out in terms of GDP numbers. India stands out in terms of recent data on PMI, on manufacturing. We along with some of the Asian countries have been the best in the world. And why only talk about these economic events? Last, if I go to the weekend, this is just gone by, and the 2 weeks before that, the glory which the Indian women cricket team has brought to us has not been so easy, because in the league there were three consecutive defeats that they faced from South Africa, Australia, and from England. And to come back from that defeat, and defeat New Zealand with a big margin, come back and defeat in semis Australia in a records chase, and then end up winning the World Cup, defeating South Africa, to whom they had lost a match in the league stages. So proud of our girls. But what does it show? It shows, yes, challenges will come, but you will shine only when you show resilience. You fight, you stand up against those challenges. And as they say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So similarly, for the event that we are here today on the webinar, I'm so excited that in the recently, and this is in the last 1 year, there were some consultation papers which was floated, and around end of February and beginning March of 2025, a very differentiated product has been approved for launch by SEBI. So today, as I'm talking to you, we want to inform you that the launch of a very differentiated product from ITI House, which I will take you through the presentation a little later. But the fund is not just another addition in our portfolio. It is a strategy designed for the future. It is a strategy which has come at such an opportunity time. And the strategy from our house is also known as the Diviniti SIF platform, or the Diviniti SIF, as it is known in the market. And it comes with a background. It comes from a background, and I'll tell you something. What conversations happens in our office is this, that we have experience of managing this product, because we have been at our group level. We have been managing these kind of product for the last 7-8 years. We have been the returns performances have been very good vis-a-vis risk and returns when you calculate that. And we have from where I begun, last 5-7 years of the challenges that we faced, the product delivery when compared to that has been very excellent, par excellence in terms of performances delivered. So by with this, let me just introduce myself and the team with me. So my name is Jatinder Pal Singh. Actually, everybody on this call, if you're hearing me, you will be surprised by because it is rare that I take my full name, because everybody calls me JP only. So I am the CEO at ITI Mutual Fund, and along with me, I have a team which I am so proud of, who have immense experience and foresight. So I have with me our CIO at ITI Mutual Fund, at ITI AMC, Mr. Rajesh Bhatia. So who has been the driving force behind our investment philosophy and the strategy at ITI Mutual Fund. I have with me Mr. Lokik Bagwe, who is the CIO of Diviniti SIF and a veteran in the debt market and derivatives market with more than 25 years experience. And with us, we also have Mr. Vasav Sehgal, who is the fund manager for a Diviniti Equity Long Short Fund, who brings expertise from equity research and portfolio construction. And I think he has an eye for asymmetries, which will help us manage this, especially this product which is getting launched. So what I'll do is I'll just share with you the presentation and take you through some of the finer points, and then I'll also after me I will be followed by Mr. Rajesh Bhatia, who will take you through the process, the way of management, and some aspects of the product that we are launching. So let me just give you a little introduction. Yes, the fund's name is called Diviniti Equity Long Short Fund. So while you are hearing a webinar from ITI Mutual Fund, why is it that it is a separate name out altogether? Because all our other 19 funds that were launched in debt and equity are called ITI Small Cap Fund, Large Cap Fund, Ideal Aces, Ultra Short Duration Liquid Fund, and so on. So all those things I'll take you through, but happy to tell you and very excited to inform you that coming Monday, 10th of November, the NFO will start, and it will run for 15 days and close on 24th November, and then in about a week's time, 4-5 days time, it will reopen for further purchase and transactions. What is it? What is that we are hearing? You must be hearing so much about these products in the market. SIFs come and so on. What is it? To put it in a very concise and summarized manner, this is a synthesis of mutual fund and alternates. तो पिछले 20-25-30 सालों में आपने म्यूचुअल फंड का तो सारी डिटेल सीख ली है, सारी परिभाषाएं, उसके वे ऑफ मैनेजमेंट, everything you have learned. But all PMS and alternate came little later. So PMS was much more customized product. They were for HNIs and so on. And when alternates came, they required even more minimum investment amount. So most of the funds in India, ज्यादातर जितना कॉर्पस हिंदुस्तान में है म्यूचुअल फंड में, पीएमएस में और एआईएफ में, most of the funds that we manage, most of them are in longs across. So longs mean investor give us money, and let's say the AUM we manage is 100 rupees. So we buy securities against that. We take deliveries and manage our money accordingly. But short is generally not allowed. So there is a certain structure of product within the AF category where shorts are allowed. So most of you from the capital market would understand that shorts, whenever positions are taken, they are taken in future and option side. So now comes a product which has been cleared by the regulator called SIF, for Specialized Investment Funds, which has a character of both a mutual fund and alternate. So it can go long or short depending upon the view of the portfolio manager. And just to clarify at the beginning, it is not compulsory that we have to go short. It depends upon the view, the direction, and the outlook of the fund manager of how they want to position themselves. So in short, SIF gives us flexibility. It's a very innovative product. It gives the fund manager flexibility to take calls in a market where they think outlook is negative, or to take a position in any kind of market on stock or indices by going short on that. Now, it simply ends up giving us, as we say, best of both worlds. And in some and to say this this product has been cleared and housed by the regulator and housed under the mutual fund. So this is a mutual fund product, though under the platform SIF. So so basically it means that only fund houses who already have a mutual fund license could have applied subject to eligibility criteria and taken the permission to launch these products. So first you have to apply, take the approval, and then launch the products. So this product ends up under the mutual fund rules, regulations, and gives the flexibility of fund to the fund manager to meet more evolving needs in the market. Market is volatile. Market, structures can change. Industry positions can change. Some policy decisions awaited can give that opportunity. So it bridges the gap between the mass market long product and some of the sophisticated in products which existed but for only few. So since this is housed under a mutual fund license, so what the regulators allowed is this, that many functions of the mutual fund can be shared. And so today the dealers, the operation team, the fund management research, everything can be shared. So this is just another product, but which required some specialized talent and required the eligibility criteria to get the approval from the regulator. Now, since this product is housed in the mutual fund, just to tell you some differences between SIF and other products in the market. AIF requires 1 crore minimum investment amount. PMS required 50 lakhs. In SIF, if investor wants to take a position for investment, they require minimum 10 lakh rupees. And this 10 lakh rupees is for fund house requirement across products that we are launching and may launch in the future. So today we are launching one product, minimum investment amount is 10 lakh. But tomorrow, if we launch another product, so you need not put another 10 lakh in that, but you can just add up with a minimum investment amount. So today 10 lakhs. So let's say tomorrow we have a minimum investment amount of 1 lakh. You can just add it up by putting 1 lakh rupee in that. So it is the 10 lakh rupee limit is on the scheme level. Now the tax benefit for the SIF same as it is in mutual fund. That is, if it is equity fund, 12.5% long-term capital gain. If somebody is holding the investment beyond 1 year and sell and take and redeems or switches out. So, and the tax is applicable at the time of redemption. Somebody holds for 5, 10 years, you pay tax when you redeem. So, and these tax structures change as per the structure of the product. So, for example, debt, it may be different. Other asset class, if you have 35 to 65% allocation equity, it will be a little different. So, but in AIF or in PMS, the tax structure is at transaction level. Investor has to pay tax on their own, depending upon, as per the law of the land. They have to pay taxes. Investor has to pay taxes on the dividend receipts in their PMS accounts. Now, I know there's a differentiation in category 3 in AIF, where the taxation is at AIF level, that's fund level, but taxation is still at transaction levels. That is, if investor's portfolio makes gains on sales of any security, the tax needs to be paid. But in AIF and in mutual fund and in SIF, the structures are that whenever investor redeems or switches out, the NAV changes. Only then the investor tend to make pay the taxes. So compounding benefits are there. Somebody is holding for long term, and the tax structures as of today are lower comparatively. Now, in terms of leverage and derivatives, in AI, up to 100% additional leverages are allowed. No leverage is allowed in PMS, no leverages or but in SIF, uh, as I told you earlier, this is a synthesis or a or a bridge between mutual fund and alternates. Up to 25% unhedged position is allowed here in SIF. So quite differentiating. The regulator today has approved uh, 7 schemes today, out of which 2 are in debt, 2 are in hybrid, and 3 are in equity funds. So the fund that we are launching coming Monday on 10th of November 2025 is a which is named Diviniti Equity Long Short Fund. So, since this is the first interaction on this fund, on any scheme that we are launching from Divinity's SIF platform. So, just to tell you how the name and why a different branding has been made. But to begin with, the mutual fund is same, the sponsorer is same. It is ITI group, is ITI asset management company. It is ITI mutual fund, but the branding under the regulation, the branding required to be separate because of the extra position, the flexibility through unhedged positions, which we can take on behalf of the investor. So branding was required to be different. So that is why you will see that any SIF that will be launched in the industry which will carry a different brand name. So just to tell you, for example, today if you go to a Titan showroom and you want to buy a watch, they have multiple uh, brands out there. They will have Nebula, they will have Titan itself, Xylus, they will have Fast Track. So they have segmented accordingly. Uh, Similarly, if you think about Rolex and Tudor, they have same company, same group. They have two different brands. Out here, every MC will have two different, one for mutual fund, one for SIF. So for us, we have named the brand for to launch the SIF as Divinity. So the word Divinity, how that came into being, what was the genesis of it? It is it is out of blend of two very powerful words and ideas. One being divine, which symbolizes higher purpose, integrity, and universal wisdom, and other word being niti, which we have used so well in our Indian culture as for governance, ethics, and strategic intent and for planning. So mix of both the word divine plus niti became DIVINITI. This is one word, divinity. So all our products that will come under SIF stable will be under the Divinity SIF. So for example, the product we are launching now is Divinity Equity Long Short Fund. If tomorrow we want to launch another product under the hybrid category, it may be Divinity Hybrid Long Short Fund or Divinity Active Asset Allocated Long Short Fund. So long short words will be used just to distinguish. But for the investor, this is just another product which has a differentiating innovative strategy, which will carry a differentiating factor in terms of investments. So over a period of time, all these things will be more clear. So I was talking to some when over last 5 6 months that the product category has been approved. We have had many conversations in the industry. We have been having conversation with our friends and with our distributors and so on. Maybe these things are very new, so some effort, some awareness will need to be brought out. But I think over a period of time, they will make their own space. So there are people who have had doubts about AF. So AF has grown more than 10 lakh crores of AUM. They have around PMS, even they have grown well. Mutual funds have grown above 75 lakh crores. So what we think is there's ample opportunity for all the products to coexist, depending upon the profiling, need, risk, returns of the investor. I think even this product, the SI product, will find its own place. So, investment objective is to generate long-term capital appreciation, and this product, especially the product we are launching, we can invest across equities, that is large cap, mid cap, or flexi cap. It is across capitalization. We can invest. So when Mr. Rajesh Bhatia will take you through the process and portfolio construct, he will give you more finer points out there. So we are very excited as a house. Now we have been at the core of this launch from the industry side. We were one of the early movers in terms of applying for a approval. The reason being that for many years we have already been managing the long short funds in India and in our Cat 3 AIF license. So we thought it was a natural progression for us because talent, experience, everything was existing. We did have to add resources. We did have to scale up for the requirement which we were done. So that is why we were very excited and did not want to wait. So there were questions put to us that, while there are many fund houses, they're very large and so on, they are in the process. What was the hurry from your side? It was, I won't say it's a hurry, but it was excitement, and it was to be that we are already do what we have been doing for many years. Now we have a chance to do it, take it across to in the mutual fund side. So and it was very natural. Only the 6 months we required was part of the only natural approvals that were required. So what I'll do out now, I'll request our CIO, Mr. Rajesh Bhatia, to take you through the aspects, some key points, the features of this product, how we are going to manage it, and request to everyone on the webinar that any questions, answer, queries you can put on the chat box or on the question or on the Q&A side, which will take it after Rajesh sir finishes the presentation. So Rajesh sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, JP sir, for that introduction and a very fantastic, overview of the SIF category. I think पहले तो सबका धन्यवाद जिन्होंने हमें यहाँ ये प्लेटफॉर्म पे ज्वाइन किया है. जेपी सर ने एकदम क्लियरली स्पष्ट रूप से बताया आपको कि एसआईएफ एक अम्ब्रेला है जिसके अंदर जैसे कि अन्य इक्विटी प्रोडक्ट्स अवेलेबल होते हैं, इक्विटी, फिक्स्ड इनकम और हाइब्रिड, वैसे ही ये एसआईएफ के अम्ब्रेला में भी जैसे कि म्यूचुअल फंड अम्ब्रेला में अवेलेबल होते हैं, एसआईएफ के अम्ब्रेला में भी इक्विटी, फिक्स्ड इनकम और हाइब्रिड प्रोडक्ट्स अवेलेबल होंगे. सो एसआईएफ अम्ब्रेला है, उसके नीचे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं. हम आज एक स्पेसिफिक प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बात करेंगे. वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट आईटीआई डिविनिटी लॉन्ग शॉर्ट इक्विटी प्रोडक्ट, right? Because that is really where we are. This is as against a hybrid or a fixed income product, which we are not introducing at this moment. So I will only talk about Diviniti SIF long short equity product because that is really where the focus is. All right. So with that, let me tell you the first about the product itself. What is the purpose of a long short equity product, right? लॉन्ग शॉर्ट इक्विटी प्रोडक्ट का अस्तित्व क्या है? जो आप टेबल अगर आपके सामने देख रहे हैं, यही उसका अस्तित्व है. अगर ये टेबल समझ गए, मेरे ख्याल से आप समझ जाएंगे व्हाट इज द पर्पस और द वैल्यू एड ऑफ अ लॉन्ग शॉर्ट इक्विटी फंड. द value add of a long short equity fund is basically to participate in upside of an equity market but not participate as much on the downside. We call it an asymmetric return profile. So as you can see in the table in front of you, Jan 23 से 18 महीने की एक लगातार तेजी का मार्केट रहा. Jan 23 से September 24 18 महीने एक तेजी का मार्केट रहा. मान लीजिए कि इंडेक्स 42% गई, वो प्रोडक्ट ने आपको 44% दिया. तो इंडेक्स में उन्होंने इक्विटी मार्केट्स में पार्टिसिपेट किया ऑन द अपसाइड. लेकिन उसके बाद एक गिरावट आई. August 24 to Feb 25 markets fell 14%. I think mid cap and small cap fell even more, probably 20 to 25%, right? This kind of a product fell 3%. So it protected your downside. While it participated on the upside in the equity market, it protected you on the downside. What is the cumulative effect of that? उसका पूरा अगर ये पूरे साइकिल का आप हिसाब निकाल लें तो वो अगर आप नीचे देख सकते हैं एक टेबल है. From that bottom table, what you can make out is that the Nifty has gone up 22% over this entire period if you cumulate it, whereas that product has gone up about close to 40%. It has generated 18% of alpha. basically 18% of alpha vis-a-vis the market with much lower risk and much lower volatility. This is the essence of the product. So that is really what I want to tell you. Now, why are we into this product? As JP sir said, that we have had a long history of this product. And, basically the history suggests to us that this has a risk return characteristic which is very attractive, right? So if you see the four bubbles that you can see, वो चार गोल गोल जो चीजें दिख रही हैं, वो हर ये 7.5-8 साल में जो जो मार्केट की गिरावट आई है, तो उसका ये वो रिप्रेजेंटेशन है. तो सबसे कॉन्स्पिक्यूअस जो है, दैट इज द कोविड पीरियड, राइट? द कोविड पीरियड वाज इन 2020, राइट? आई हैव गिवन यू द व्हाट कैन द प्रोडक्ट डू व्हेन द मार्केट स्लाइड्स, right? How does it protect downside, or how does it protect your NAV? So in each of these phases, when the market has fallen sharply over the last 7.5 years, the COVID period particularly, market actually top to bottom fell, if I'm not mistaken, 38%, right? Whereas this strategy actually made money, right? So that's a very good characteristic of a product like this, where you can protect your capital when any large kind of a drawdown takes place. Clearly, as you can see, I want to tell you that this long short equity product is still an equity product. The entire focus of the product is capital appreciation, just that the risk return of the product is very different from a long only. And when we are doing that, as you can see, the risk of this product is far lower. So you can see the beta, it's 0.29, मतलब इसका risk lower है, standard deviation lower है, लेकिन sharp ratio high है. तो ये product equity product है, capital appreciation के लिए है, long term के लिए है, लेकिन जैसे आप navigate करते हैं market को, जब market का गिरावट आती है, वो गिरता नहीं है, लेकिन अपसाइड में पार्टिसिपेट करता है, और इसका रिस्क रिटर्न आपके लॉन्ग ओनली फंड से अलग है. तो इसकी जरूरत क्या है, और पर्टिकुलरली आज इसकी आवश्यकता क्यों है? व्हाई डू यू नीड अ लॉन्ग शॉर्ट इक्विटी प्रोडक्ट टुडे? Two reasons. One, today, if you talk to smart money, today they are telling you, look, Indian equity valuations are elevated today. I'm not comfortable with those valuations. And even if things go right, chances are यहाँ से मेरे only 11 to 12% compounded मिलेगा. So जो equity valuations हैं आज की डेट में, कुछ लोग उससे नाखुश हैं या कुछ अनकंफर्टेबल हैं कि ये थोड़े एलिवेटेड हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि इंडिया स्टोरी में कोई गलती है. इंडिया स्टोरी इज फैंटास्टिक. नेक्स्ट 10 years looks very good. Having said that, because of the elevated valuations, people say I may make only a CAGR of 11 to 12%. And they worry, what if the market falls before it rises? अगर मार्केट गिरा और उसके बाद बढ़ा, तो ये मेरा 11 और 12% जो कैगर में का अनुमान लेके बैठा हूं, वो भी शायद उससे कम हो जाए. तो पहली बात तो ये रिस्क आ रही है मार्केट में, जो लोगों को उसके लिए चिंता है. पीपल आर कंसर्न्ड अबाउट दिस. सेकेंड इज, टुडे पीपल, जैसे कि जेपी सर ने एकदम करेक्टली बताया, आज की तारीख में जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशंस ट्रम्प को लेकर हो, या एलिवेटेड डेट लेवल्स हो, कि कहीं मैं पढ़ रहा था कि फ्रांस और यूके को शायद आईएमएफ के पास जाना पड़े. यूके सोच रहा है टैक्स रेट बढ़ाए, because they are not in a very comfortable financial situation. There's a lot of challenges with private credit in the United States and various parts of the developed world. Global risk is actually rising. We are going into a multipolar world. So लोग कह रहे हैं, बॉस ये ग्लोबल मार्केट जो है फ्रैजाइल हो गया है, अनप्रिडिक्टेबल हो गया है, वॉलेटाइल हो गया है. So at a time when mere valuations high hai, when my valuations are high, the global markets are volatile. So I need a strategy that, God willing, if everything goes well for India, I will continue to make an equity return. But God forbid, अगर मार्केट नीचे गया तो मेरे पैसे बच जाने चाहिए, मेरे मेरे को इतना नुकसान नहीं होना चाहिए. A product like this, therefore, helps because it adds to your overall portfolio. It adds to lowering your risk, but ensuring that your return is not compromised. That is the addition of this product, और उसकी आवश्यकता और भी बढ़ गई है. मैं दो चीज आपको बताना चाहूंगा एज अ कॉन्सेप्ट, जो हमारे देश में शायद थोड़ा अंडर अप्रिशिएटेड है। हम सब वॉरेन बफेट के भक्त हैं और उनसे काफी प्रेरणा लेते हैं, और राइटली सो। वॉरेन बफेट जी आज की तारीख में 380 बिलियन डॉलर कैश में है, इन अ मार्केट विच इज द बेस्ट मार्केट टुडे इन द वर्ल्ड। यूएस मार्केट तो बुल मार्केट में है, लेकिन वॉरेन बफेट जी 380 बिलियन डॉलर कैश लेके बैठे हैं। इसके ऊपर मैं आपको थोड़ा एक इंसाइट देना चाहूंगा, पर पहले एक इन्वेस्टिंग इंसाइट। उनका सबसे पहला प्रिंसिपल क्या है, जो हम बहुत कम टाइम उसको उसकी उसका यू नो वर्णन करते हैं, वो है रूल नंबर वन, डोंट लूज मनी। रूल नंबर टू, नेवर नेवर फॉरगेट रूल नंबर वन। First principle of Warren Buffett is protect your capital. Not only Warren Buffett, any smart long-term investor, whether it is Seth Klarman, Irving Khan, or George Soros, the first principle of investing that they will tell you is don't lose money, because it interferes with your compounding. राइट, एज सेथ क्लामन सेज कि 30 साल मैंने अगर 15% पे कंपाउंड किया, और 31 साल में मैंने पैसे लगा दिए एआई में, एनवीडिया में, या माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में, एप्पल में, जो कि एनवीडिया आज 5 ट्रिलियन है, लेकिन वो 6 महीने पहले 2.5 ट्रिलियन था। अगर भगवान ना करे अगर ये 5 ट्रिलियन वापस से 2.5 ट्रिलियन हो गया, राइट, मेरे परमानेंट लॉस ऑफ कैपिटल हो गई। What will happen to my 31 years of compounding? It will become 7 to 7.5%. My 30 years of compounding can get impacted by if I lose capital permanently. So it interferes with your compounding when you actually lose money. Have I given you a clue why Warren Buffett is still on $380 billion of cash and not willing to participate in the AI bubble? He doesn't want to mess up his 50 plus years of compounding. That's a very important rule in investing, which we should not ever forget. उससे और एक दाखला देता हूं, दो पोर्टफोलियो के, राइट। एक है एक है खरगोश। मैं मानता हूं कि द हेयर एंड टॉर्टॉइज स्टोरी। द पोर्टफोलियो वन इज अ हेयर, इट गैलप्स रियली फास्ट, बट इट ऑल्सो इज वॉलेटाइल एंड इट काइंड ऑफ कम्स डाउन। एंड द सेकेंड पोर्टफोलियो इज लाइक अ टॉर्टॉइज, हमारा कछुआ है, जो कि एकदम स्टेडीली बढ़ता है लेकिन ज्यादा पीछे नहीं जाता। सरप्राइज सरप्राइज, पोर्टफोलियो टू इज अहेड ऑफ पोर्टफोलियो वन। तो इन्वेस्टिंग में एक रूल है, स्टेडीली गो अप, दैट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट। इट्स मोर इंपॉर्टेंट, अगर आपको कंपाउंड करना है, पीछे मत जाइए। सो एक ये प्रोडक्ट जो लॉन्ग शॉट एड्रेस करता है, पीछे मत जाइएगा कॉन्सेप्ट। सो दैट्स व्हाई इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू कीप दिस इन माइंड। इट्स एन एसेंशियल इन्वेस्टिंग रूल which I think you will also appreciate the long short equity fund addresses adequately. दूसरा इंसाइट मैं आपको देना चाहता हूं। मैं अन्य लोगों से बात करता हूं, पीपल टेल मी, boss, Indian markets will go down for 6 months to 1 year. After that, we are going to make 15 to 18% compounded. Now, if people who are as old as me or JP sir, they will know that 1995 to 2003, 1996 to 2003, there was zero equity returns made. Again, Jan 2008, actually to Jan 2015, if you had given money to a long only manager, about 7 years, you did not make any money, right? Now, so markets can be flat for a long time. Equity returns can be zero for a long time. I'm saying it has happened to India quite a few times, and not only long back, Jan 2000 to Jan 2015. So not everyone can afford this kind of flat returns. Now imagine if you're a 50-year-old, 60-year-old, God forbid 70-year-old, और आपने 80% of your portfolio is in equity. ये अनुमान लगाकर कि जब 10 साल के बाद मेरा इक्विटी पोर्टफोलियो क्वाड्रपल हो जाएगा, और उसके बाद माय रिटायरमेंट विल बी मच बेटर. What if there is a period of flat 10 years? Now, what is your solution for that? To some extent, the Divinity Long Short Equity Fund type of a product will certainly help you. So this is another insight that I just wanted to share with you. So what I wanted to also convey to you is that, look, Divinity SIF is a fundamental long short product. Now, in terms of the philosophy and portfolio construction, there are a couple of things that I want you to note. What we do is, the skill sets required to succeed in long short investing is, you have to have a very good understanding of top down. आपको पता होना चाहिए, और या एटलीस्ट आपको अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए कि हम कौन से साइकिल में कहाँ हैं, कौन से साइकिल वैल्यूएशन साइकिल, इकोनॉमिक साइकिल, मार्केट साइकिल और सेंटिमेंट साइकिल, इसकी एक अच्छी अंडरस्टैंडिंग होनी चाहिए। दूसरी बात, आपके स्टॉक पिकिंग स्किल्स काफी अच्छे होने चाहिए। और तीसरी बात, इसका रिस्क मैनेजमेंट डीएनए बहुत स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए। सो ये 3 स्किल सेट हैं, टॉप डाउन, बॉटम अप और रिस्क मैनेजमेंट। ये 3 होंगे तो आप लॉन्ग शॉट में सक्सीड हो पाएंगे। इसीलिए मैं कहता हूं कि अगर आप लॉन्ग शॉट इक्विटी स्ट्रेटजी ले रहे हैं तो ये आप प्रोडक्ट नहीं खरीद रहे हैं, ये आप स्किल सेट खरीद रहे हैं। तो मैं आपको अर्ज करूंगा, whichever long short equity product that you're buying, please ask what is the skill set of your fund manager, what is the track record of your fund manager, how consistent has the track record been. So I think those are 3 things whenever you're evaluating a long short equity product, these are the type of questions that you should be asking. Right. So in terms of allocation, let me just tell you what we do. Now, of course, we go long and we go short. लॉन्ग के 2 पहलू हैं, एक होता है स्ट्रेटेजिक लॉन्ग और दूसरा होता है टैक्टिकल लॉन्ग। स्ट्रेटेजिक लॉन्ग का मतलब क्या है? हम भी फंडामेंटल एनालिस्ट हैं, हम भी वही करते हैं जो लॉन्ग ओनली करते हैं। मान लीजिए कि हमें कोई बिजनेस अच्छा लगा जो कि प्रिडिक्टेबल है, मल्टी ईयर है, ग्रोथ ओरिएंटेड है, राइट? जैसे कि टेलीकॉम कंपनीज हैं आज के तारीख में, जैसे कि अन्य प्राइवेट बैंक्स हैं और प्राइवेट इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज हैं। हमें लगता है कि उसकी ग्रोथ कर्व, क्विक कॉमर्स कंपनीज हैं, ऐसे अन्य कंपनीज हैं जो जिसे हमें लगता है दीज आर प्रिडिक्टेबल बिजनेसेस, these are growth oriented businesses in India, these are very profitable businesses in India, and they are available at a very good price. So typically we want to buy them for a multi-year period. That is the share of my strategic long in my portfolio. So that's how we choose those securities and keep them in something called strategic long. देन देर इज टैक्टिकल लॉन्ग। सो मान लीजिए कि मुझे एक ऑटो कंपनी अच्छी लगती है, राइट? और मुझे लेकिन वो 5 साल के लिए नहीं लेना है, मुझे उसको 3 महीने, 6 महीने या 1 साल के लिए लेना है, तो मैं उसे वो ऐड कर दूंगा फ्यूचर्स मार्केट में। सो ये मेरा लॉन्ग का ही पोर्टफोलियो है, लेकिन मैं उसको फ्यूचर्स मार्केट में ले लेता हूँ, राइट? और वो शॉर्टर टर्म ट्रेड के लिए है। दूसरी बात, मैं सीधे शॉर्ट्स पर आता हूं। शॉर्ट्स आपके लॉन्ग के थोड़े बहुत उल्टे हैं, उल्टे इन द सेंस, पहले मैं उसको बेचता हूं फिर खरीदता हूं। तो इसका एडवांटेज मुझे लॉन्ग शॉर्ट में कैप्चर करने के लिए मिलता है जो लॉन्ग ओनली फंड्स नहीं कर पाते। मान लीजिए कि अन्य बैंक्स हैं जो एमएफआई में थे, राइट? और एमएफआई लोन्स में उनका काफी भारी नुकसान हुआ, मैं ऐसे बैंक्स को शॉर्ट कर सकता हूं, अनुमान लगाकर कि ये बैंक्स क्या के भाव गिरेंगे पहले, और इससे मेरे जो अगर मैं लॉन्ग करूं और शॉर्ट करूं, मेरे पोर्टफोलियो का बीटा कम हो जाता है और मेरी अपॉर्चुनिटी होती है कि मैं दोनों तरफ से पैसे बना सकूं। सो ये शॉर्ट होता है। और तीसरी बात है जो बी है, हेजेस। हेजेस तो आर्बिट्राज फंड की तरह है, राइट? सो लेट अस से इफ आई एम लॉन्ग एन एचडीएफसी बैंक 100 शेयर्स, आई कैन बी शॉर्ट 100 शेयर्स ऑफ एचडीएफसी बैंक इन फ्यूचर्स, जैसे कि आर्बिट्राज फंड करता है। मतलब मेरा पूरा एचडीएफसी बैंक का पोजीशन न्यूट्रलाइज हो गया, तो उससे मुझे कोई फिर नुकसान नहीं होगा। इट डजेंट मैटर वेदर एचडीएफसी बैंक गोज अप और डाउन, आई विल ओनली मेक आर्बिट्राज रिटर्न्स। सो लॉन्ग की बड़ी भाषा है, हेजेस हैं और शॉर्ट्स हैं। नेट एक्सपोजर, इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब है कि मेरी पूरी पोर्टफोलियो में कितना एक्सपोजर बचा हुआ है ऑफ इक्विटी विच इज एक्सपोज टू द मार्केट। और नेट एक्सपोजर का कंप्यूटेशन क्या है? टोटल लॉन्ग विच इज स्ट्रेटजी लॉन्ग पर प्रैक्टिकल लॉन्ग माइनस हेजेस माइनस शॉर्ट इज इक्वल टू नेट एक्सपोजर। सो अगर आप नेक्स्ट टेबल देखें, आपको पोर्टफोलियो कंस्ट्रक्शन अपने आप समझ में आ जाएगा। और मैं पहले जाऊंगा सीधे नेट एक्सपोजर पे, मतलब नेट एक्सपोजर टू द मार्केट, राइट? जस्ट लाइक अ बैलेंस एडवांटेज फंड जो अपना नेट एक्सपोजर ऑफ इक्विटी कम या ज्यादा करता है, लेकिन दे कम फ्रॉम एन एसेट एलोकेशन परस्पेक्टिव। इन केस इक्विटीज आर ओवर वैल्यूड, आई विल इंक्रीज माई proportion of fixed income. This is a far more sharper equity product, which means if you have a COVID-like period, I am not changing your asset allocation. I am taking equities to as close to zero as possible to protect your capital. So it's a little more equity oriented than a balanced advantage fund. And the range of exposures, these are theoretical ranges, but usually these are typically 20 to 70% exposure ranges, which means that I am exposed 20% to equity or 70% to equity, which means अगर मैं तेजी में हूं तो मेरा नेट इक्विटी एक्सपोजर 70 या 80 की तरफ जाएगा, और अगर मैं बेरिश मोड में हूं तो उसके और 20 और 30% के करीबन जाएगा। और ये काफी डायनामिक पोर्टफोलियो है, मेरा पोर्टफोलियो काफी लिक्विड है, ज्यादातर हमारे स्टॉक्स टॉप 250 में होते हैं। सो इट्स अ वेरी लिक्विड पोर्टफोलियो। इफ आई डोंट हैव अ लिक्विड पोर्टफोलियो, देन हाउ विल आई प्रोटेक्ट कैपिटल? बिकॉज दैट इज द पर्पस। हमारा पहला धर्म ऑफ अ लॉन्ग शॉर्ट इक्विटी फंड इज प्रोटेक्ट कैपिटल। इफ आई डोंट प्रोटेक्ट कैपिटल, देर इज नो रीजन फॉर यू टू बी इन अ लॉन्ग शॉर्ट इक्विटी प्रोडक्ट। अगर लॉन्ग शॉर्ट प्रोडक्ट का रिस्क रिटर्न लॉन्ग ओनली की तरह ही है, वो लॉन्ग शॉर्ट प्रोडक्ट नहीं है, वो लॉन्ग ओनली प्रोडक्ट है, right? So I have to have a differentiation vis-a-vis a long only product, which is to protect downside. How will I be able to protect downside? Only if the product has liquidity. The stocks are liquid enough for me to kind of control or the risk whenever the need arises. So dominantly my focus is going to be the top 250 companies. I think they comprise 90% of India's market cap. So that's a plenty enough canvas to kind of play with. So that is in summary of what I wanted to tell you. Let me repeat what I've just said. Our product is equity oriented product. It's an Diviniti equity long short product. का अस्तित्व है asymmetric return profile. Participate in upside, don't participate in downside. By the way, we have a very long history of doing this. 7.5 years at ITI, AIF. So we have done it for a long time and we have the experience over cycles to manage it. I think it's fair to say we are among the most consistent, if not the most consistent, long short product in the country. I also told you the need for a product like this has just gone up because valuations महंगे हैं और ग्लोबल अनसर्टेनिटी बढ़ गई है। तो आपको एक पोर्टफोलियो में ऐसा प्रोडक्ट चाहिए जो इक्विटी रिटर्न बनाए, लेकिन भगवान ना करे अगर बाजार नीचे गिरा तो आप अपना कैपिटल बचा सकते हैं। सो द नीड फॉर अ प्रोडक्ट लाइक दिस हैज जस्ट गॉन अप dramatically. Then I explained to you two concepts of investing. One, why capital protection is important for your long-term compounding. Hopefully, a product like an equity long-short product helps you in that process. And lastly, as a concept, I told you that equity markets can remain flat for a long time. So to avoid or to kind of mitigate some part of that, you probably an allocation to an equity long-short product matters even more. And lastly, I've talked to you about the our construction of the portfolio, how we manage and why we are a fundamental long-short equity product, and therefore why we have the skill sets of managing this. It's an extremely skilled product, which means the first question you have to ask when you're evaluating a long-short equity product is, do you have the skill sets? Do you have the experience? And what is the consistency of your performance? To conclude, this is an equity product. It is a capital appreciation product. It has a risk return characteristic very different from a long only product. The need for a product like this has just gone up, and we have the experience and the track record to deliver on a product like this. I'll conclude with that. Over to you, JP sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I think we have already got some feedback on a chat box, question answers about how well the presentation has been put. Thank you for that, Rajesh. And for some fun purpose, let me tell you what I call Rajesh. I call him Bhishma Pitama of long short, because the times when long shots started coming to India, he was there, and I tell him that hopefully you will be there forever for this, right? At least even if he retires, the legacy will be there. So let me just take few questions. They already come on chat box, and there are more, I think, till now on feature side, and you're welcome to put more questions since we just closed the part on the process this and just now. So there's a question which has come, and before I go to the question, let me just put a disclaimer. Look, if we have talked about few stocks, they are only for understanding purpose and not recommendation to buy. The one question is, it's about SIP. Is SIP allowed in this product? Yes, but it's subject to 10 lakh being minimum amount. So in the NFO, you can give me a lump sum and you can give us a SIP also along with it. but minimum 10 lakh rupee has to be there. Systematic withdrawal feature is also there. SIP amount is 5,000 minimum, so you can give more in multiples of 1 after that in additions. All dates for SIP are available, all business days. Sorry. And in terms of systematic withdrawal, if you want to you want systematic withdrawals, again 10 lakh is required, but 10,000 is a minimum amount of systematic withdrawal that you can do. So yeah, so let's say somebody is given a 20 lakh rupee investment amount, they want 10,000 per month, give 1 lakh 20. No active breaches are allowed. So if somebody gives 10 lakh rupee and become 10 lakh 50,000, they want to redeem 80,000, it can't be redeemed because you will drop down below 10 lakh voluntarily. So either everything has to be redeemed or only up 10 lakh minimum has to be left. Passive breach is okay. You are given me 10 lakh rupees because market went down, it went to 9 lakh 90. So no margin calls will be sent out, but the investment will be as it is. Now there's a query which came on NRI. Are NRI allowed to invest? Yes. So consider this as mutual fund investment only. The only difference currently, I think in future it may be allowed, is this that currently switches between mutual fund and SIF is on hold. It is not allowed. SIP systematic withdrawal is allowed. NRI, so automatically, since this is a mutual fund product, if NRI, the way NRI could invest in mutual fund, they can invest in SIF also. Exit loads, yes, there is a exit in our product. We have put an exit load of up to 6 months for 0.5%, and there is some variation also. I request you to go through because for the first 10% redemption, but just to tell you, this should be taken as a long-term product. This should, just because we have put 6 months, it does not mean 6 months is a time horizon we are suggesting for investment. This, and if you ask me what is the time horizon, this is like a perpetual product in your portfolio. Within the equity space, this will act like a shock absorber in volatile times, in times when when market may tend to go down, because again the way of management of this product is not to give you the highest possible return by being fully invested and trying to generate return, ignoring the risk. So here we tend to generate returns by giving you lower risk-adjusted return. The dharma, the principle of investment is keeping an equal eye on risk. So I'm quoting a very old quote in the market which came pre-Lehman, where a CEO, global CEO of a very large American bank said that there is party going on in the market, and we need, and parties of liquidity, and we need to dance till the music is on. This is not what long short fund manager is supposed to do. Even if they dance, they will dance near the exit gate, so that if they have to exit, they will exit very fast and try and manage downside across time horizons. So somebody asked us that, look, if the markets go up, is that the only opportunity to short? The answer is no. It can be across in any market. So I will put this question little later to Rajesh, but before that, let me take other questions which are on the feature side. Can we make investment through Carvi, CAMS, and so on? Yes, MFU, Carvi, CAMS, NSC, BSC, all platforms. This is additional product from a mutual fund house. So we can make investments. You can make investment through any of them online through our website. All same options that are available for mutual fund are available for this product, also subject to minimum investment amount. So where can we see? There's another question. Where can we see valuation of statements? All mailback services will be available to you. So if you take investor distributor take mailback services, it will be same thing will be available to you. CAMS, Carvi, you take you want to know capital gains, you want to see evaluations, you want to see the transactions, everything on eCash, on valuations. If you have invested in our ITI large cap, ITI small cap, ITI mid cap fund, if you're invested in a Divinity equity long short fund, so it will show a Divinity equity long short fund along with other holdings. So all holdings will be shown separate. It's the way it is shown in mutual fund, same way it will be shown here, but only under a separate brand name. So all the benefits that are there, all the features of mutual fund are available here. So in case somebody wants, I think, to know about brokerage, trail-based brokerage, the way it is in mutual fund, payment term same, so the monthly the way we pay, and uh, and uh, and though it, I think industry has not even released one broker till now. It will be released any time now, because hardly 2 3 funds have come. We are the third or the fourth fund house to launch, but what my conversation which our RTS KFIN is our RTS is this, that calculation will be done both together. You have mobilized money in our mutual fund. It will show first that, then it will show our SIF. Then total calculation will be paid out. Hopefully, I think probably uh, as of what I know is single payment will be made for both the mobilizations together, right? But this we will confirm later also. But because the first set of payments will be released this month, so if I can, while I'm reading other questions, let me put the two questions that I received to Rajesh ji. Rajesh ji, one question is long short only in index or stocks or both? And second, along with that, there's a question, what kind of markets do you think can give you more opportunity for shorts?
So, it can be a combination of indexes and, um, short single stock futures. But look, this it's not इससे सीमित नहीं है. I can also hedge. So I have a cash portfolio which I can reduce the exposure by single stock futures like to like. Like I pointed out in my example, I could be long HDFC Bank and I can short HDFC Bank, and that can be a like to like hedge. Over and above that, I have the option to short stocks or futures. And remember, futures gives me of indexes gives me enormous flexibility and speed relative to single stock futures. So I can use that index hedges also as a speed mechanism to reduce my exposure. But of course, there is single stock futures, which is a lot more deliberate and thought through, which businesses which I feel can be declining, and we can short those as well. So that was the answer to the first question. I think the second question, JP sir, what was the second question?
Uh, uh, what kind of markets can give more opportunity for shorts?
Oh, क्वाइट इजी डिक्लाइनिंग मार्केट्स राइट. अगर मान लीजिए कि आप कोविड मार्केट्स में हैं, तो इंडिया इज अ वेरी कोरिलेटेड मार्केट, राइट. सो जब ऊपर जाता है तो लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स गो अप टुगेदर एंड वाइस वर्सा. So you'll be surprised at how much we can make when the markets are declining. Remember, एक रूल है मार्केट्स का. जब मार्केट ऊपर जाता है ना, तो एक लैडर की तरह ऊपर जाता है, धीरे धीरे करके ऊपर जाता है. लेकिन जब नीचे आता है ना, तो जो 5 साल के गेन है ना, 2 या 3 महीने में उसकी गिरावट दिख जाती है, राइट. सो वो एलिवेटर की तरह नीचे आता है. सो व्हेन दैट फेज टेक्स प्लेस, वी हैव टू बी रेडी टू शॉर्ट and make sure that we make enough money on the short side as well. So to answer your question in a very simplistic manner, declining markets are a dream for the shorting ability that you have.
Sure. So few questions more have come up. So I think Virender ji is putting a question: is it not just like timing the market which is difficult? And another question from Anuj ji is: what is the maximum drawdown possible under sharp declines like COVID?
Yeah. Well, first of all, as a fund manager, I've been involved in long short for 18 years. Um, and as our firm, ITI AMC or ITI Long Short Equity Fund, we have done this for 7.5 years with amazing consistency. So there is a method and a process. There is a knowledge layer, and then there is a process layer to achieving what we are doing. Without a process, you cannot have consistency. सो अगर हम कंसिस्टेंट रहे हैं, इसका मतलब है कि हमारी एक प्रोसेस है ऑफ हाउ टू प्रोटेक्ट कैपिटल दैट इज वर्किंग. सो टू आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन,
Yeah,
JP sir, I'm sorry, there was another question as well
yeah. So the other question was uh,
on COVID periods. How much can be the loss? My
COVID
apologies.
maximum
Yeah.
drawdown possible under sharp decline like COVID.
सो आई कैन टेल यू, हमारा जो ITI लॉन्ग शॉर्ट इक्विटी फंड है, अ, अ, उस पीरियड में जब मार्केट 38% गिरा, वो ऊपर था, राइट. इट वाज अप, इट वाज अ पॉजिटिव नंबर ड्यूरिंग दैट पीरियड. शायद ही कोई इक्विटी फंड, मेरी जानकारी में तो नहीं है, बट शायद ही कोई इक्विटी फंड पॉजिटिव रहा होगा 2020 में। तो हमारी अगर आप आईटीआई लॉन्ग शॉर्ट इक्विटी की कंसिस्टेंसी देखिए तो मेरे ख्याल से वी हैव बीन रीजनेबली कंसिस्टेंट ऑन प्रोटेक्टिंग डाउनसाइड।
Sure. So, question from Captain Negi. Can you please explain the tactical longs in the Diviniti SIF?
सो टैक्टिकल लॉन्ग्स कैन बी फॉर वेरियस रीजन। जैसे कि मान लीजिए अगर जीएसटी कट आया है और वो ऑटोमोबाइल प्रोडक्ट्स को सपोर्ट करता है, तो आपने देखा कि जब भी जीएसटी के चर्चे होने लगे, जीएसटी कट तो बाद में आया और लेकिन ऑटो स्टॉक्स बढ़ने लगे, बिकॉज वो एक मीनिंगफुल कट था। 28 से 18% was a meaningful cut that took place in the product prices of auto companies. And therefore, we knew that that could jumpstart the demand for automobile products. Now, you don't have to have a 5-year view on that, but you can have a tactical call on that, that I think this sector can do well immediately. Let me give you another example. So we have a fairly core holding of banks. But what we have seen in the last few months is that there is an enormous push इन बैंकिंग, बिकॉज जो मार्जिन बैंक्स बना रहे हैं वो एक बॉटम आउट हो रहे हैं, राइट? और जो एनपीएस जो हमने फियर किए थे वो नहीं आए। एंड लेट अस से लाइक समबडी लाइक एसबीआई हैज मेंशन, क्रेडिट ग्रोथ एक्सेलरेट हो रही है। सो ये सेक्टर को हमने देखा कि एक्चुअली ये फेवरेबल स्पॉट में जा रहा है। जब 2-3 महीने से हम देख रहे थे कि ये फेवरेबल स्पॉट में जा रहा है, तो हमने अपनी स्ट्रेटेजिक पोर्टफोलियो को तो रखा ही, लेकिन हमने टैक्टिकली भी अपने बैंक्स को ऐड किया। तो दैट कैन बी अनदर रीजन व्हाई यू कैन सी अ शॉर्टर टर्म मोमेंटम इन consumption or private banking, which I can take advantage of. It's not a 5-year view, but I can know that this sector will kind of will do well, so I can increase my allocation to that sector on a tactical basis. What I have told you in terms of sector can also be for a stock specific reason.
Sure. So, one or two questions. Let me take their own funds. So, Canada investors invest, same rules of mutual fund apply, depending on fund houses at our level, subject to certain undertakings, they can invest. Yes, same rule apply. Can we arrange the webinar for clients? Look, I'm not too clear on the question, but still tell you our presentations will be available on our websites and will be sent out to the distributors on the mail and so on. You can take it from a RM, anybody, or you can go to a website. I think in couple of 2-3 days time we'll upload it. And this webinar is also available on YouTube, so you can even download from there for any further reference or any question on this what we have just covered today. So I think very clients need the webinar, their product can be arranged for investors. So I don't know whether immediately it's possible for us to do, but this will be available on YouTube. You can surely download it and send it out. And presentations will also be, PDF files of presentations will also be available.
Can I take a few questions, JP sir?
Yes. So one question for, I think it's for Loke. Loke sir, the question is for you. There is in the presentation there was a slide saying that there can be investment in the fixed income. The question is how will that be invested, where, and what kind of return generation under present circumstances?
Hi, thank you. It will be more or less cash and cash equivalent product. It is not like, as Rajesh sir has already mentioned, it is a purely a equity product in itself, whereby almost 80-90% would be your equity only. It is just only a 0 to 10%, which is predominantly a cash and cash equivalent and related with the margin part of it. So the returns would always be in and around the repo level, which is currently a 5.5 kind of, and 5.5 to 6% kind of rate of returns can be expected out of the fixed income products, because it is purely just a cash and cash equivalent. Now, for cash and cash equivalent is nothing but it's only up to 60 to 90-day asset classes. It is nothing more than that. So there is nothing of a duration risk in itself. It is just only a liquid kind of portfolio.
Right. So I think the question, the features, will the fund be compatible with Carvey Camp's feedback for mutual fund? Yes, it will be compatible. Will the feeds be compatible with Carvey for mutual fund? Yes, it will be compatible. 6-month exit load in today's market, does it apply as well for SIP mode? Yes, it applies in SIP mode, because SIP once invested become lump sum. So 6 months, and actually, if you ask me, 6 months is nothing from equity aspect. And how much CAGR is expected in around 10 years time? I think this question is open-ended because it's future market. But what we can say is, it depends on two parts: how well India does, where we think that the Indian Sensex space has been delivering nominal GDP growth and plus some returns, and naturally, and accordingly, we'll try and manage to the best of ability. Not correct. We are not allowed and not correct to suggest the future returns. Uh, so are there chance? I think few questions are so they're very interesting words being used. Are there chances of becoming Abhimanyu in this game? And if yes, then what's the probability? I'll ignore that because had Abhimanyu's, what I can assure you is if we are Abhimanyu, then I hope that my mother did not go to sleep in the last stage of the where the view is supposed to be broken. So that we'll come to know later. But thank you. Interesting comparison. There are many small questions, but I think most of them we have answered. And
If I can just take one question, JP sir, I think there is a question on risk management. If the shots go wrong,
yes,
then how do you manage? So first of all, I think I want to tell you and the audience, risk management is one of the key cornerstones of managing a product like a long short fund, right? And so when you are short, you first make sure that there's an adequate diversity of your short book. So let's say your positions are 1 to 3% of NAV. And then there are strict stop losses on your short book. Second, I want to just tell you, look, we have done this for a very long time. We have a live track record in our ITI AIF, and that should also give you some sense of the culture of managing a long short fund that we have exhibited over a very long period of time. So if you look at those track records, it'll give you a sense of the ability for us to navigate not only cycles, months, quarters, and years. So I think that also I think something that you should look at and reflect on when you're looking at Divinity SIF.
yes. So I think more or less many questions are answered, but Aisha, still one interesting question. I think if you can take it to right. When you were talking about long short fund being positive during COVID, are these back tested or are the actual number in terms of is it your AIF long short strategy which actually your might how it has performed that time? This is a question from Ashish.
So I can only tell you specifically on the AIF strategy. When the market was down 38%, ITI long short AIF was up during that period. Let me just restrict it to that.
Yes. So what is the expected beta of the product in case of bull run? Difficult to say. Look, because it is possible that if we have long, the beta might be same, but long short, they're hedging those portions actually tends to reduce your beta, and that is what we'll try and do. Is the same team managing both AIF and SIF? Right, sir, if you can take this question, and along with that, would you be using technical as a tool for this product in terms of tactical calls? This is another question.
Yeah. So fortunately for the Divinity SIF, I was a long short equity fund manager in ITI long short equity fund before I became the CIO of the mutual fund. So now I'm the mutual fund manager, and I carry skill sets of long short. So you'll be able to see what skill sets we have delivered over there. And I had the team now on the mutual fund side. So the mutual fund will now have the same skill set demonstrated on the SIF. So to answer your question, I carried that 18 years experience in long short, which now as a CIO of the mutual fund, I'll be able to carry in the mutual fund format as well, or the SIF format as well. As far as technical inputs and quantitative inputs are concerned, of course, we get a lot of inputs from Vasav Saigal, who kind of analyzes markets and companies and sectors from a quantitative and a technical framework as well. So he's going to be a very important ingredient to deciding that as well. So to the answer to the question, we look at various inputs to the markets, and we will not leave this opportunity also to gauge insight into the markets from this end as well.
So let me just clarify one or two things and then close the session by saying that this is a very innovative product that has been under the guidance of SEBI. Now, this product has carry in it the power to challenge many products existing and maybe disrupt some of them. So what to our distributors who are here on the call, what I will say is keep an open mind. If you are already certified, you should look positive towards that. It is not either or, it can be and whether on, and a lot of people say, will it impact the existing book of the mutual fund? Possible, because somewhere some money we think can move from fixed income in various long short funds. There is a good chance that all hybrid products in the mutual fund can be like this can be a challenger to them. The passive passive long funds, the the ETFs longs. We think all of this can be a challenger for many of them, and only time will tell exactly like how this will come a winner or close to them, and so on. But it is here to stay. It is here to grow. In terms of selling the product, you need certification 13, which I'm sure many of you would have done because invitation you can sell only if you've done certification 13, gone and uploaded with Amphi. So these are some of the key aspects which are finer and newer in the market. So just all of us need to pick it up. It should not be that you're not certified and you sell and there's commercial loss for the distributor. And but the net thing is, we are excited, we have the experience, we have the skill set, we have the talent, and we think that this product category will do well. What we can assure you is that we will try and give you good risk adjusted return over these cycles. And there was a question here, if the market goes up, how well can this product do as against long? Look, this product will carry different different shapes depending upon the situation of the market. In a bull market, this can even behave like a long product, but maybe a mix of tactical and strategic longs. And in a market which is volatile, where we think outlook is not good, this may be completely like hybrids, or maybe literally full covered positions can be there. At least we carry that flexibility to do it. So interesting times, keep learning. Right, even for us, the good part is we have the experience and we are going to utilize it to manage in a very disciplined way. I remember going through a interview recently, and the question was, unhedged or short sometimes are considered very from very fearsome angle. What I can assure you is that we think that this is a tool to be used in a very disciplined way. We will utilize all the past experience and all these fundamental and technical aspects of the market to use it. It is not as they say that सटोरिये की तरह इसको एकदम not use करना है, एकदम disciplined way में use करना है. This is already in use across the world. So interesting space will be created with this over a period of time, and you will see this space evolving. So our NFO, Diviniti Long Short Equity Fund NFO, for us, it marks a milestone, one that combines our past experience and spirit of innovation. And as a partner, what I will say is you play a very dynamic and a very important role for the industry, and same for us. So in terms of helping the investor to choose products that fit their portfolio. So for this product gives you the opportunity to do deep conversation with the investor, to place this product in portfolios where the drawdowns can be lower, the risk adjusted returns can be much better in many aspects. And as through the presentation we have talked about, it is give the maximum returns possible, but to try and give you good risk adjusted return. A good, in the end, can we end up, because there's many questions which came up like that. So just to tell you, in the end, can we end up giving very high returns? It is possible, but it will be outcome of the process through the whole cycle. In the earlier slide, we showed you that when the market went up, Nifty went up in between January, February of 2023 till September 2024. Nifty went up 42%, we went up 44%. It is not as it may be that we took positions later, but ultimately we generated returns almost equal to Nifty. But on the downside, there's huge alpha creation. So to whole cycle, 22% Nifty up, we were up about 40%. That is the example that we have showed you. So just to take that question which came in 2-3 contexts, that is we will try and do the job that and the flexibility that has been given by SEBI in a very disciplined and a very responsible way. And thank you for your trust. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your presence today. And with this, we'll call end of this session with the hope that you support us in the NFO and on an ongoing basis. So thank you.
Thank you.